Welcome back to the Out of the Rough podcast presented by We Know Fantasy. As always, my name is Nate with We Know Fantasy, and joining me as always is my co-host Jake. Jake, I think I know the answer, but how we do today?
We're doing awesome, Nate. A little early, so a little tired. We're out of our routine a bit, recording this on Monday morning, but Nate, I'm so ready. We've got the Masters. We're heading to Augusta National down Magnolia Lane. Um, this is where the casual fan, if they didn't tune in at the Players, is now fully tuned in at the Masters. One of the most beautiful looking courses on TV, one of the most highly regarded courses, tournaments, everything. I can't speak highly enough. Everyone loves this tournament, and I'm so excited to talk about it.
Yeah, you mentioned the casual fan is fully in tune this week. You could talk to essentially anyone, and they could probably give you some type of fact, information about the Masters, about Augusta National. You could, reminisce of 2019 when Tiger Woods won, all of that. So we're clashing worlds here. This isn't the Valero Texas Open or the Mexico Open at Vedanta World. This is the Masters. This is the big one. A tradition unlike any else. We're finally here. It seems like it takes forever to get to here, but I mean, 4 months of doing this, 15 tournaments I think we've had so far, 14 weeks, because there was a double up in there. So yeah, we're here. We're here. I'm fully excited. Like you said, it's approximately 6 a.m. here on the East Coast as we're recording this, and typically we do Monday evenings. I stayed up to about 1:30 in the morning finishing off my articles and things. So a little tired on both of our ends. We still have work, both of us here ahead of us, a full day of work. But man, as you mentioned, Jake, when we started this podcast or when we hopped on this call, nothing will get me up early unless it's a major, and this is the big major. This is it, Augusta National. Man, I'm just tickled pink to finally be here. Looking forward to Thursday morning, just waking up, turning the TV on, plopping myself on my couch, and not moving as I watch golf. As you mentioned, one of the most pristine, recognized pieces of golf architecture in the entire world. Again, a casual fan, you can show an image of any bit of Augusta National, like, oh yeah, that's Augusta National, opposed to a lot of these golf courses we see. But here we are. Let's get into things, Jake. Without further ado, where can we find you on social media?
Yep, you can find me at DJ Freeman on Twitter. I'll be posting my outright card there shortly, so you'll be able to see that. Also, you can find my article that I'm writing by the time you are hearing this on weknowfantasy.com. Also, if you're looking for more information, you can definitely check out our Discord, completely free to join, no hidden paywalls once you're in there. The chat is going to be going pretty close to 24 hours a day this week because of major season, which is awesome. But again, join completely free if you have any questions regarding outrights, DFS, the tournament in general, anything golf related. Be sure to hop in there. If you're interested in NASCAR or tennis, we also have channels in there ran by myself, Devin, and Cody, respectively. So definitely hop in there completely free. As I've said 3,000 times, no hidden paywalls, but make sure you message me or Nate so we can get you the link to join so we can get you in and keep those bots out.
Yeah, that Discord will be going absolutely ferocious this entire week. I mean, it's already started. When's the second Brian Harmon officially won the Valero Texas Open last week? Everyone has switched into Masters mode. 260 plus people in there. It's a free tool to have at your fingertips. Again, not only Jake and I in there, there is 260 plus people. There is a ton of activity, a ton of regulars posting their outright cards, posting their tips, their matchups, their information, their insight, everything. So again, a great tool to have. It's a community we've built. It's not just a way for us to pump our information to you. It's simply a community. If you're sick of the toxicity, I guess maybe of I don't think that's correct, man. It's early of golf Twitter. This is a nice place to be. You can talk uh golf in a judgment-free zone. There's everyone from amateurs to professional bettors in there and everything in between. So be sure to check that out. Hit us up for a link for that. You can follow myself, Nate, on Twitter at WKF Nate. Be sure to follow We Know Fantasy on all of the social media at We Know Fantasy. Be sure to visit WeKnowFantasy.com for some more fantasy sports content for baseball, basketball, football, NASCAR, golf, everything in between. We have you covered on there each and every week. I post my PGA Tour, DP World Tour, and LPGA Major full breakdown. That's where I really go in depth each and every week of those respective tournaments. Post my full betting cards, DFS plays for PGA Tour. Again, my Masters one's already up there Sunday night. I guess it was technically Monday morning that went live. And moving forward, I'm going to try to post my course and field breakdown Sunday nights, leave it open for a DFS and petty card for Monday. Oh, when odds drop and all of that. But again, being Master Season is already out there for you. Beyond that, I think that's it. I don't know. I'm missing a lot of things here. I don't know. The one and done will be going crazy this week. We'll have a lot of new people hopping in there, so be sure to check that out when it hits Twitter, or if you can find the WeKnowFans.com as well. But yeah, I know I forgot something out of the routine. Here we go. It's Master Season either way. All right, Jake. It is. It is the 89th playing of the Masters at Augusta National. A lot of people use this as the official mark of spring. If you're watching this on video form, you can see that I'm in my truck and there's snow around me. I am very much so ready for springtime. I'm ready for the seasons to finally change officially. I've been teased several times as Jake, you have been on the same weather pattern essentially. We've seen some 75-degree days and the next day it's back down to 25. But none of that really matters this week. We have the Masters. Again, one of the most pristine piece of golf architecture in the entire world. The storylines each and every season are endless here. Of course, nothing more notable than Rory McIlroy's chase for golf immortality. A victory this week places him among five others for the career Grand Slam. Scotty Scheffler looking to become the ninth player to win his third or more green jacket. You have Ludwig Aberg, who is looking to claim his first major with a runner-up performance here a season ago. Jon Rahm, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau looking to claim victory for LIV. The list goes on and on. The field this week, in terms of field depth and all of that, this is the weakest major field we see because of the invite to past senior champions. It's a limited field. I think there's 96 golfers this season. Last year was 88. But that really doesn't matter, right, Jake? It really doesn't matter. Again, the big storyline, Rory McIlroy, since 2015, each and every year we've been talking about this. Career Grand Slam right there for him. A win at Augusta will do it. Joining him, he'd become the sixth golfer in golf history. Gene Sarazen, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods, the only others to have been able to do it. Closest Rory's got was 2022, where he was the runner-up. And currently there's arguably no one better in the world of golf than Rory McIlroy. It feels like if there is a year to do it, this is the year. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure if that were to happen, the golf world, the casual fan, the sports world as a whole will be going crazy because, again, five people in all of the history of golf, 100 plus years professional golf, have only done this feat. So we also have, of course, Scotty Scheffler looking for his third title here at Augusta National, coming off of becoming the defending champion a season ago. He also won in 2022. He would join Phil Mickelson, Sir Nick Faldo, Gary Player, Sam Snead, and Jamie Demert as three-time winners and would only trail Arnold Palmer at four, Tiger Woods at five, and Jack Nicklaus at six for most wins at Augusta National. Again, there's other people who can take a step towards golf or mortality with a win this week. Xander Schauffele would quickly find himself just one event short of a career Grand Slam after claiming two titles a season ago at the PGA and the Open. You have Collin Morikawa, who too would propel himself closer PGA in 2020 and the Open in 2021. Jon Rahm, to the 2023 champion, returns this week, looking to claim his second green jacket, and in doing so, become the first LIV golfer to claim the Masters. We've seen Brooks Koepka in 23 at the PGA Championship and Bryson DeChambeau at the 24 U.S. Open to claim a major as part of LIV. Koepka, a five-time major champion, would also take his step towards golf immortality with a three-time PGA champion, a two-time U.S. Open champion. Of course, Phil Mickelson, also of LIV, would find himself with four green jackets and just tying himself for the third most with Arnold Palmer. Again, this field invites a bunch of LIV golfers in. We have Tyrrell Hatton, Dustin Johnson, a former winner, Joachim Neiman, Patrick Reed, a former winner, Charles Schwartzel, a former winner, Cameron Smith, Bubba Watson, a former winner. A lot of former master champions from that LIV side coming over this week. And of course, we have a slew of golfers looking to use the 2025 Masters as their first major victory. Victor Hovland, Patrick Cantlay, Tony Finau, Tommy Fleetwood, Will Zalatoris, Heath Theegala, Neiman and Hatton themselves as well. One of the most notable absentees this week, of course, Tiger Woods. will not be playing in the 89th playing of the Masters. Again, recovering from that ruptured Achilles he suffered not too long ago and had surgery to repair. And yeah, this year's field, 73 of the PGA, 12 live, 5 amateurs, and 6 senior past champions. There's an extended list B in the Masters of those past champions. I won't run through because it's rather lengthy, but just know a lot of them are here this week. All right, onto the course this week. Augusta National is the definition of pristine golf course, and as previously mentioned, is the most pristine, manicured golf properties in the planet. There simply is nothing like Augusta National. Designed in 1933 by Dr. Alistair Mackenzie and Bobby Jones and redesigned in 2008. Plays its traditional par 72 and listed yardage at 7,545 yards. Although that yardage number is listed on the scorecard, it plays more to about 7,900 yards. Pure yardage is way more important than creating the right angle into the flag. Water is in play on 5 holes this week. Water is in play more so on the back 9 with the 3 key holes, also known as Amen Corner, all featuring water. The greens are a bent grass that play both firm and fast. The average square footage of the greens is 6,486 feet. These greens are crazy fast and undulating. They're very large and contorted in a way to be some of the toughest in all of the world. This is where course history comes into play, as these greens have been known to bamboozle the inexperienced and poor putters alike. I know I keep blabbing about these greens, but this is the difference here at Augusta National. They play at roughly 14 in the Stimpmeter if Mother Nature allows. They're sub-air field greens that are unlike anything that the world's best golfers face across the rest of the season. Birdie chances are reduced to the smallest of target areas here on this entire golf course, and especially the greens. Many of these areas are only accessible by using the natural contours of these greens. The difficulty of these greens does not stop there, as they include the infamous Augusta runoff areas, which surround all green complexes. This makes, of course, around the green game that much more important. The lack of rough around green complexes also creates indecision when greens are missed, scrambling percentages that take a hit there due to this. It is known for its topography of its fairways and forces uneven fairway lies each and every time. To go along with the long list of defenses that the course features, swirling winds will cause fits to golfers all tournament long. It annually yields the lowest penalty for missing fairways among major tour venues. On 7 of 14 holes, there is a difference of less than 10% in birdie or better percentage, depending on whether a player hits the fairway or not. So finding the fairway really isn't that important here this week. It's more so finding the correct angle into these challenging greens. Uh, any hopeful winner of the green jacket must be aggressive on the 4 par 5s this week, which is mostly the case each and every week. The par 5 15th and par 3 16th must be taken advantage of this week, as well as they are the best of scoring opportunities. These holes help offer an exciting finish, as ground can be made up if leaders take an errant shot off the tee. Golfers too will look to minimize bogeys across the rest of the holes. To minimize bogeys, golfers will have to seek greens and regulation, scramble, and have a solid short game plus distance and lag putting. Although the course hosts this event year in and year out, it does do a bit of tinkering almost every year to change some aspect of the course. It did some major tinkering prior to the 2023 playing. At one of the most iconic holes, the change was implemented to combat the insane distance of today's tour pros. The par 5 13th, also known as Azalea, may now play significantly longer. 35 yards were out of the hole. For the long bombers off the tee, the hole had become a driver and a 7, 8, or 9 iron in, removing what was once a true risk reward of playing for a par 5 and 2. 35 yards may not sound like a lot, but it is. And then to make room for the additional 35 yards, trees were removed and a new tee box was installed. The 13th now plays as 545 yards. In 2021, we saw some more changes that saw prior to the 2021 edition, excuse me, the par 5 15th, also known as Firethorn, was extended by 20 yards and led to more forced layups. The replacement of the first cut to short grass was implemented on holes 9 and 10, also par 4s. The par 4 11th, also known as White Dogwood, was lengthened by 15 yards as well. Yeah, so there's that. And then this year, in 2022, new green surfaces were added to holes 3, 13, and 17. This year, there isn't many changes in terms of the playability of this golf course due to the Hurricane Helene last year in the fall, I believe it was. a bunch of trees were taken out, and due to this, the on the 16th green, the green was destroyed. Essentially, they had to replace that. The green itself has not been changed in terms of playability, but what has changed is the lack of trees is not casting the same amount of shadows for those in the later rounds on that green. So to make it easier for them to navigate and view that green, I think that's the extent of it. Of course history here is absolutely crucial. I I don't have the stat in front of me, but it is the uh, course on the PGA Tour's regular schedule that course history has the biggest implication on who is eventual to win. Not sure if I phrased that correctly, but it
Yeah.
is course history is super important this week if you've looked at any past winner and their past results. So it's darn near. I don't know who or when it was the last time a debutant has won here. Ludwig Aberg was close last year, I guess you could say. I know four strokes back on the scorecard. It was much closer than that. That back nine, I think, was the ninth or 10th hole. He tried to press the issue to close the gap on Scotty Scheffler and took himself out of it. Same with Kyle Morikawa on the same hole. But yeah, that's it. Augusta National, the Masters. Anything to add here, Jake?
No, I think I saw an interview with Rory McIlroy that talked about the 16th green, even though they replaced it, these guys have been playing it all week and last week when they didn't play, tee it up. They were at Augusta getting practice rounds in and getting used to everything. And he said that the 16th green plays exactly the same as it did last year. So that replacement of the green has essentially no impact except for what you said, less trees, less shadows at the end of the day. Makes it a little bit easier to read those putts because those shadows get in your head when you're trying to putt. It is very hard to read, so could be beneficial to the players. But personally, I think the winning score comes in at like between 10 and 12 under. It's going to be
Yep.
your typical standard Masters. It's not going to be, you know, those lower scoring Masters. I don't think it's going to play overly difficult. It doesn't look like there's rain in the forecast as of right now. I think there's a little bit of rain early in the week, so I think by Sunday these greens are going to dry out and just play really difficult. So it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I think Friday only hosts like a 40% chance in the afternoonish for some precipitation, but beyond that, looks rather clear this week, and we'll see what Mother Nature does have in store. But yeah, doesn't look too bad weather-wise. Everything's in line here for a great week of golf. So let's hop into our betting cards, Jake. Being the Masters, of course, I had a few futures in play here, so I think I ended up with
Yep,
six guys in the card, Jake.
same here. And
And
I
I
think
think
we
we
have
have a
some
bunch of cross.
crossover.
Yep, just
Yeah,
about to
that
say
makes me
that.
happy.
We do have a bunch of crossover here. One of them being a future, and then a few standard names that are usually on your betting card that I hopped on this week. But I'll kick things off here with a guy I've mentioned a few times already. This is one of the more difficult events to handicap because the real winnability of this golf course seems so limited to a handful of guys because of the course history, how well they've played here, and traditionally, if you are one of the best golfers in the early season of the PGA Tour coming in, you are the one to win this golf event. I mean, looking back at Scotty Scheffler a season ago, he had wins at the Players and the API coming in. John Rahm in 23 won the Genesis and the American Express. The list goes on and on. You can talk about that forever. A lot of me wanted to, you know, do the single bullet Rory McIlroy, but there is a bit of concern with that shoulder or was it elbow injury that has been lingering. But yeah, if you were to be one to single bullet Rory McIlroy, I am 100%
Yeah.
on board. I really wanted to do it, but I already had a few futures in play as well, so really wasn't plausible to fit my card around a single bullet Rory McIlroy. So here we are. I'm leading things off here. I'm going 20 to 1, Ludwig Alberg, debutante season ago, runner up. That speaks volumes to me. Has that course history now, knows how to attack this golf course, especially on Sunday where he tried to force the issue and didn't get it done against Scotty Scheffler. And the difference here this year, Ludwig Aberg has his first big boy PGA Tour victory. He won the Genesis Invitational, a signature event. And I know he had that other fall series win prior to last season, but I know he hasn't been playing the best of golf. He missed the cut last week at the Valero Texas Open and missed the cut of the Players, but again, won the Genesis. And I know, Jake, we talked about this. After the Genesis, we're like, this is the last time we'll see a 20 next to Ludwig Aberg's name. Told myself if I were to see a 20 against Ludwig Aberg's name the rest of the season, I would probably play it. Got to stand on business, as the kids are saying these days. Take Ludwig Aberg at 20. The stats aren't gravitated me towards Ludwig Aberg. It wasn't my model that popped. It was the course history, how he did last year in his debut as a debutant, and everything beyond that. The value at 20, I think, is phenomenal. He's not one that's going to throw insane stats at you and convince you to that he's going to win a golf tournament. It's simply pure talent, pure potential, course history. He's still first on tour in proximate hole for 200 plus yards, 31st in par four, border better percentage, 36 in average driving distance. He does the things well. He is a elite talent on the PGA Tour, unlimited potential, and it's going to be sooner rather than later that he gets a major. He was insane here a season ago again on his debutante. I'm here for it. 20 to 1, Luca Elberg. Let's get it done. Let's start this thing.
Yeah, Nate, I respect it. I mean, we both talked about it that a 20 wasn't going to be too popular between Aberg going forward after that win at the Genesis. I expected to see him in the teens. I expect him to get steamed down to the teens, so I think 20 is a good number here. But like you said, huge win at the Genesis, great course history. It's all right there in front of Aberg, and this is a great opportunity to do that. So I like the play there.
Yeah, and at 20 to 1, you mentioned he's probably pretty popular. And if you're one to steer away from the popular bets, blah, 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 so be it. This is not the event to do that because, again, the real win pool of golfers is so limited here, and you're going to
Yeah.
have so much money in the books from casuals and all of that, that where none of that can be put into play this week. Scotty Scheffler, even at 3.5, is going to be by and far and away the most bet golfer across all of the books this week. Same with Rory McIlroy at 6.5, six
Yeah.
even. All of these guys will be hammered. There's going to be a ton and ton of money across all books. So don't fall into, oh, he's a popular play. All the money's on this guy, because this is the event where it's going to happen. You're having more eyes on it, more money on it, more everything on it. So yeah, 20 to 1, insane value, in my opinion. Let's roll with it. Let's get it done.
Yep. No, I agree.
All right, Jake, who's your first play here?
Yeah, my first play here, I just have to talk about him. I've put like every single free play that I've had since
Yes,
in
same here.
2025 on him. It's Scotty Scheffler, 4.5 to 1. I do not recommend taking that number
No.
with any cash value. If you have boosts, if you have free plays, I think it's a worthwhile investment to take him at 4.5 to 1. Otherwise, from a pure handicapping standpoint, I do not think it is a good idea to lay your action on someone at 4.5 to 1 when I think there's a lot of guys with win equity this week, Nate. In the past, it's been Scotty by a mile, or like you
Yes.
have five or six guys that can really do it. This year, I think there's a legitimate pool of close to 20 to 25 guys that could legitimately do it. Is that because Scotty Scheffler hasn't won in 2025 yet? Honestly, yes.
Yes.
So that's my concern here is Scotty has not gotten across the finish line. But that being said, he has two, four, six, eight, 9 wins in his last 25 starts. I'm not all too concerned. He's won this tournament twice, as we've spoken about. His worst finish in 5 years is a T19. So course history, obviously there. The reason why I'm gravitating towards Scotty with my free plays this week, and I have in the past, is because he's playing some incredible golf despite not winning. What we saw at the Texas Houston, sorry, damn it, Nate, I screwed it up. It wasn't you. Texas Children's Houston Open, he crushed the putter. He's been putting incredibly this season. The approach play is always there. He's an incredible off the tee player. He's just extremely well rounded. This is his tournament. It feels like, how do I not just have a little bit of equity in Scheffler this week? Um, he's third in strokes gained total, seventh off the tee, eighth on approach, 49th around the greens, and 42nd putting. It's the best putting we've seen Scotty Scheffler have in his career. I think it's I think it's number three, Nate. I think he's getting green jacket number three.
Yeah, so I have all of my free play I've acquired over the year as well on Scotty Scheffler. I didn't include it on the card because it was a free play, and again, it's not a play I endorse at the number. I think I have them in various numbers, 4.5, four, somewhere around there. But I probably have close to 250, $300 in free play on Scotty Scheffler that I've accrued over the years, or the year, excuse me. So I'm right there with you. And yeah, I, I think there's a bit of overshadowing of Scotty Scheffler because he simply hasn't won. or the injury, I guess people are still talking about from his Christmas Day incident. But that's a scary Scotty Scheffler, right? It's the one that
Yeah.
you don't expect to come. And again, the Texas Children's Houston Open, where he essentially came out of nowhere in the final round and almost won that event. Any golf event that he tees it up in, he can win by a mile, and he's proven that he can do that here at Augusta last year. It's scary. It's definitely scary as a bettor when Scotty Scheffler's in the field because again, he also cares more than everyone, and that's the scary thing when it comes to these regular season events. Because typically, if you have someone of like Scotty Scheffler's nature who is, 10 back with 2 rounds to go, they're kind of cruise control and just getting across the finish line, moving on to a bigger event. But Scotty Scheffler wants to win more than anyone on the golf course. He eats, sleep, breathes golf. That's no more apparent than here at Augusta National. He knows this golf course more than anyone. He's dominated this golf course more than anyone in this field. So yeah, right there with you. Scotty Scheffler free play has been pumped all season long. All right, moving forward, I have another 20-1. This was a future I have in my book here, and that's John Rahm, 20-1, the 2023 champion. And this number would have been, crushed down if he were to win last week at Live
Oh
Miami.
yeah.
Was at one point tie the lead and then faltered on the back nine there. I didn't really watch it, just following a bit on the leaderboards on the phone. But of those on Live, he has an average finishing placement of 5.6 across 5 events. So he's playing insane golf nonetheless, despite not winning on Live. He's placed second at Radai, sixth at Adelaide, sixth at Hong Kong, fifth at Singapore, and ninth at Miami. Over the past 6 seasons at the Masters, he won in 23, placed fifth in 2021, seventh in 2020, ninth in 2019, 27th in 2022, and 45th a season ago. Currently on Live, he's first in birdies, third in green regulations. He's eighth in putting average, ninth in scrambling, 11th in average driving distance. He has the game to do it. He's won here before. Someone of John Rahm's, if John Rahm was still on the PGA Tour, we're talking about Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, Rory McIlroy. Like that's the three-headed monster. I know Xander's taking a step into that again with his injuries, he's taking a step back. John Rahm is still a top 5 player in the world. I don't care what your belief is of live golf. He is still an insane
Yeah.
talent. He's won here before, great course history, has the game to do it. And again, 20-1, when you're seeing no shade to Colin Morikawa at 14, 16, 18, and you have John Rahm at 20, that's a simple comparison there for me. I'm taking
Yeah.
John Rahm every day of the week at 20. Again, a winner just 2 seasons ago. Let's do it. I know I have two 20s on the book, but I think it's doable when you don't have a 12, a 10, a 14, a 16 even. Again, it is a bit of a future. It's not that long ago I got the 20, and I don't know if it's still even lingering about, but he's probably 14, 16, somewhere around there at this point. But yeah, John Rahm at 20.
Yeah, I like the shout. I was extremely tempted with Rom this week, but again, with the free play on Scotty Scheffler instead of Rom, I've got some longer shots that I wanted to take this week, but my God, Nate, he is extremely well-rounded. He's been crushing the ball off the tee like beautifully. If he was on the PGA Tour, I think he would easily be second in strokes gained tee to green
Mhm.
to only Scotty Scheffler. So you're getting him at what, 5 times the odds here? It feels like a no-brainer. This is the one that if Rom gets it done this week, I might be kicking myself a little bit because it feels right for him.
Yeah, because you have like Rory McIlroy at 6.5, and if you don't have him on a card, he goes on to win. So be it. Rory McIlroy, he won. Same with Scotty Scheffler at that number. If he goes on to win, he beat me again. Blah blah blah. I'll complain about it, but it's nothing too serious. I hate when there's someone at like 18, 20, 22. It's Ludwig Aberg, the Genesis prime example, where you're like, I don't know. There's a few other guys I'm
Yep.
looking at, whatever, and then you get beat by Ludwig Aberg when he crossed your mind. Same with John Rahm at 20. I think it's the same situation here. But yeah, I think it's just prime for John Rahm to get it done again.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
All right, Jake, who we rolling with next?
Yeah, this is one that we have a crossover on.
Yes.
Someone had shouted this out on our Discord early in the season, thought the number would be well down, but due to some recent poor performances, The number seems to be exactly or pretty close to where we
Mhm.
got it. Hideki Matsuyama, I had boosted this up to 34. I believe the number that was tipped was 28, something like that, or maybe low 30s, but he's missed his last two cuts, one at the Players, one at the Valero Texas Open. Those were backed on some really poor putting performances where, we've seen Hideki struggle with the putter, and it does get a little concerning, but just a little bit of a tidbit here. Last season, after he's lost strokes gained putting twice of a stroke or more, he's gone on to, this was at the Genesis, Scottish Open, and at the Open. He bounced back at the Olympics and the FedEx, gaining over a stroke per round putting. So it's a reach, Nate, but it's something I'm trying to hang my hat on here and keep myself positive on. I think a previous Masters champion who has won on the PGA Tour this season on the Century at, you know, mid 30s, low 30s is a really fair number, right? Great iron player. As we know, we've talked about it. We've really beaten this down. But when Hideki's irons are on, we don't need him to putt well because the
No.
ball is within 5 feet on every single hole. And at that point, it's inevitable that you're just going to start making your putts. But also, like I mentioned before, it's going to rain early in the week. So these greens are going to dry out and it's going to play really difficult. The year that Hideki won the Masters back in 2021, I believe the conditions were extremely similar, where by Sunday, it was really hard to hold these greens. Hideki has the right shot shape to hold firm greens, and he can make putts when he's putting the ball close. So I'm taking my shot here on a previous Masters champion. We've placed the future. I would honestly be comfortable tipping him at 30 to 1 this week, regardless. So if that number is still lingering or better, I'm still stamping my name next to it.
Yeah, right there with you. 30 to ones where I have him. Like I said, I think it was mentioned at 28, found a 30 along the way. This is after he won the Century. So 4 months ago when we placed this bet, I honestly had to search through all the books to remember where I placed this bet, but I found it. Here we are, 30 to 1. You talked all about it, Jake. It's hard to believe we've talked about the course history so much already that a former champion, not that long ago even, it's not like we're talking about the 2006 champion, is 30 to 1, still out there. And, going back to 2021, what a story that was. Like in the face of extreme racism against Asians, during that time of COVID-19, a simple man of Hideki Matsuyama comes on, wins the biggest tournament in the world of golf. And then I just love the story of him just walking through the airport with like a green jacket like draped over his back as he's boarding his plane, just a casual like the rest of us. But you've mentioned everything here. Of course, a former champion, he has the game to do it. He has the shot shape to do it. And when he's on, we've talked about it so many times when we do these type of handicapping. Can this person beat Scotty Scheffler on a Sunday? And Hideki Matsuyama can and has beat Scotty Scheffler on a Sunday. He can take him down. Again, the iron play, when it is on, there is no one better in the world. And right now, his around the green game is better than anyone in the world. He has been majestic around the greens. And of course,
Yeah.
that is absolutely crucial here. Not only the around the green, the game around the green game, but also the course history and knowing where you need to land these balls, fly these balls from these extremely difficult runoff areas into these extremely difficult greens. Hideki has done it. He's been here for a long time. He's played this golf course a ton of times outside of winning. So again, still endorsing 30 to 1. I'll still endorse 26, 28, honestly. So I think there's that much value when it comes to Hideki Matsuyama at a major, especially
Yeah.
the Masters. All right, let's move on to I think our next two guys are both crossover guys here, Jake, since
Yeah.
I've moved through that. So I'll kick off the one that you don't talk about as much as the other one here. So I'll go Robert McIntyre, 60 to 1. There is a true correlation between Augusta National and left-handed players. We've seen Bubba Watson win here twice. The way this golf course is laid out, the way the dog legs go, left-handed golfers, I know there isn't like a ton of, winners. I mean, just because there are so few left-handed golfers compared to right-handed golfers in the world of golf and has ever been in the world of golf. So comparatively, it's hard to adjust that number respectively. But there is. We've seen it with our own
Yeah.
eyes that there is a real correlation between this. Of course, Robert McIntyre, one of the premier left-handed golfers of the PGA Tour. I mean, we saw one win last week, and Brian Harman as well. But McIntyre has quietly had a great start to the 2025 campaign. Sixth in Phoenix, he was ninth at the Players, 11th at the API, 15th at the Century, 40th at Pebble, 53rd at the Sony Open, fifth on tour. That's fifth in tee to green, sixth in green to regulations. He's 12th in par five, 15th in bogey avoidance, 21st on approach. The putting number 137 is a bit of a worry, but he did gain 0.402 strokes per round of the Players and 0.181 strokes per round of the Arnold Palmer. He's played here. He hasn't played here since 2022, however. He did place 23rd that year and 12th in his debut. So he's had, two top 25 performances here in the last handful of seasons. The left-handed correlation, great play coming in with some great stats. At a number like 60, when it comes to a field like this, I think there's real value in Robert McIntyre, and I'm going to assume you agree since he's on your betting card as well, Jake. So that's my first, I guess, quote unquote, longer shot of the week.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out. So one of my friends, we talk golf every single week. We split a one and done. And since the beginning of time, we have talked about Robert McIntyre at the Masters. We bet him every single time he's here. And he's given us a sweat, right? Like, a 12th and a 23rd in two appearances. He's playing the best golf of his career between last year and this year. He had two wins on the PGA Tour last year. You've hashed out his recent form. It has been super under the radar. I figured when I loaded up his stats, I'd be like, okay, he's got some top 20s, whatever. I can justify it. He's has a bunch of top 10 finishes this season very
And
quietly.
big tournaments too.
Lefty shot shape. Yeah, right. Lefty shot shape, which I love. 21st off the tee, eighth off the tee, 21st on approach. Like you said, the short game around tour average, the putting is a bit of a concern. Playing the best golf of his career, I thought I got a 65. I thought that was awesome. But yeah, I got to give a shout out to my friend Paul. Both of us are on him already in the outright market. We've got him in the one and done, in the one that we are absolutely struggling in. But yeah, I love Robert McIntyre. I can talk about him for days. I'll save you guys the spiel.
There we go. If you want to hear some Robert McIntyre hype, join the Discord. I'm sure there'll be a lot of that pumped on here this
Oh
week. But
yeah.
man, that's a fantastic number. I just couldn't get over it. I didn't come into this week with like you with intentions to look at Robert McIntyre, but popped in the model 60 to 1, 65, especially for you. Insane number. One of the younger European towns of the PGA Tour, Ryder Cup veteran. Now it just feels like there's a real possibility, right? There's a real possibility that Robert McIntyre is a victor this week, and I'm here
And
for it,
he's not
Jake.
scared of the big dogs. He is
No,
not scared of the big dogs.
no.
If he has a lead on Sunday, this could be famous last words, but if it's him and Rory, I am not scared at all. If it is him and Scotty, I've already got Scotty, and you've got Scotty too. So we're in some house money there, but he's contended in huge tournaments, like you said. So I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to see Bobby Mack with a green jacket.
Yeah, what a time that would be. What a time that would be. All right, Jake, this next guy here needs no further introduction. I think if you were ever to tune into one of these podcasts, follow Jake at all, you know who it's coming with. I'm right there with you this week. Let's fire it up, Jake.
Yeah, it's Will Zalatoris.
Yep.
Three appearances. Worst finish was a T9. Feels like an absolute no-brainer. 55 to 1. I think you got him at what, 65, right?
65.
Yeah, it's embarrassing number by the books, honestly. Hasn't missed a cut this season in I think eight starts, including
Yep.
at the DP World Tour Nedbank. He hasn't had that spike performance that we've seen, right, Nate? His best finish on the season is a T12. We've seen Zalatoris, we're used to seeing pepper top fives and really contend in some big tournaments, like his Masters history. Hasn't gotten there per se this year. I'm not too concerned about that. The
Yep.
approach play has been absolutely elite, extremely well talented off the tee. The short game is a little bit of cause for concern, but he's pretty solid around the green. The putter has let him down, but we know that about Will Zalatoris. And in three Masters appearances, he's gained with the putter in two of them. So maybe it's something about these green complexes that he's figured out. He's an extremely good lag putter. That he does not get enough credit for that. Within 7 feet, it's in the Lord's hands at that point with Zalatoris. It gets pretty ugly. But on the PGA Tour this season, 38th in strokes gained total, 66 off the tee, 18th on approach, 74th around the green, and 130th in putting. We've seen Scottie Scheffler win this tournament as an absolutely horrific putter. I know that we say putting is important, but the fact that Scotty's able to do it twice, I'm willing to take my chances on these green complexes. One of my favorite golfers, extremely, extremely good course history without a win, probably rivaling Rory McIlroy, who has way bigger of a sample size. But Nate, I would do anything to see Will Zalatoris put on a green jacket, and I could not live with myself without that ticket.
Yeah, and when it comes to golfers with at least three appearances of the last 6 seasons at the Masters, no one has a better average finishing placement than Will Zalatoris. It's simply the course history, right? I didn't pop my model, and Will Zalatoris was number one. It wasn't like he was far down, but he wasn't way up where you think he would be. Just that course history. You talked about it right there. All of those figures coming at you. It's insane. There's people who figure this golf course out and have success here each and every week, and it seems
Yep.
like this is a course for Will Zalatoris. I remember I was on him when he was a runner-up a few seasons ago. Kind of had a place in my heart from there. But yeah, 65 to 1, absolutely insane number. I think it's still out there on DraftKings if you're looking for it. I just looked it up real quick. So yeah, take that number, run with it. Again, he's going to be probably the most tipped at that number or one of the top three most tipped at that number. Again, who cares? It's the Masters limited field essentially. Yeah, it seems like it's a no-brainer. Again, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Jake, I think that leaves us with one person left on our cards.
I've got I've got two.
How did we mess this up? Did I skip someone?
We had crossover on three, so
Okay, I think that's part of it, yes. Yeah, so my final play here, I of course have to have one long shot this week. I can't go into a golf tournament, especially a major, with one I'll be tuned in religiously without a long shot. I'm going with Nikolai Hogard here at 200 to 1. He's currently 15th on tour in greening relations and three-putt avoidance. He's 24th in driving distance, 28th on approach, 35th in bogey avoidance, 43rd in putting, 62nd tee to green, blah, blah, blah. 140th in scrambling, which is a number that does concern me a bit, but he did scramble to the tune of 80% at his last made cut, the Cognizant Classic. Now, I know he's missed three straight cuts coming into this week, but he also placed 16th here at the Masters a season ago in his debut. Again, debuts at the Masters are extremely difficult, has a lot to it in the course history and all that, with a 16th there already for Nikolai. I know the golf isn't absolutely insane for Nikolai, but the course lines up correctly with his way he plays as apparent with the 16th a season ago. The stats are there. And again, we're talking 200 to 1 to win the Masters. We're not looking for every box in the book to be checked, or he would not be 200 to 1. But yeah, simply needed a long shot for my sanity. It's going to be Nikolai Hogart.
yeah, Nate, this is a guy that we've talked about a lot. He has legitimate win equity on the DP World Tour, and he has chased down the big names in this field. He's chased down Rory McIlroy and beaten him. He's beaten Robert McIntyre, Tommy Fleetwood. So I like the shout
Victor
at 200 to
Hovland.
1 because yeah, right. He could definitely, he has the win equity, not per se in like, he has the mental win equity, right? If
Yes.
he's going up against these guys, he could do it versus like, I don't know. eh, no offense to Joe Highsmith, debutant here, lefty. I like him a lot as top debutant, but if he's in contention on Sunday, it is just waiting for the crumbling of Joe Highsmith versus Nikolai Højgaard. He can get this across the finish line. So I do like the shout. I think it's legitimate win equity at 200 to 1.
There we go. As you mentioned, yeah, that 2023 DP World Tour Championship with the world's best of European golfers in attendance, and Nikolai Hogarth took them all down and claimed that title. So we talk about that often. He's been there, done that, and PJ Tour hasn't been too kind to him so far. But I think this is one of those like untapped potential type of guys that can really get done. And again, a 16th in his debut a season ago, fantastic number at 200 to 1. All right, Jake, who are these last two on your card then?
Yep, I'll just rattle them both off pretty quickly here for you guys. Keegan Bradley, 150 to
Yes.
1, Ryder Cup captain, hopefully future champion, like I almost
We can
said.
only
But
hope.
yeah, I think 150 to 1 is a huge number on Keegan Bradley. He has all of the motivation in the world to get it done to win the Masters this week. I've liked his course history. It doesn't flash like some other guys, but in what was it, three, six, eight appearances, he only has one miscut. In more recent Masters, 2023, a top 23 finish, 2024, a top 24 finish. So peppering those top 25s, a great start to the PGA Tour this season, a T6 at the Sony, a T5 at the API, a T20 at the Players. Extremely talented on approach, extremely talented off the tee. Again, it'll come down to short game. That's kind of seems where I'm at this week is just spike
Hoping.
one time for me with the putter, spike one time for me around the green and just get lucky there. But Ryder Cup captain, I think that this is a great chance for him. He's extremely motivated. I think 150 to 1 is a long shot, but also has some legitimate win equity there.
Yeah,
Rattling
one.
just right off in. Oh, you want to talk about it
Yeah, I
quickly?
was going to talk about Keegan real quick. I mean,
Yeah.
insane at 150 to 1. We're talking about Ryder Cup captain, a guy who's won some tough golf events. I mean, he's won a major in his career as well. It just seems like a big number for a guy, like you said, when you're looking for guys this far down. Can they get it done on a Sunday when the times are tough? And Keegan Bradley is a grinder. He definitely can. He's been there, done that. Hard to believe that he could win a Masters, right? It's trying to fathom it, but he definitely can. It's a huge number again for someone who could really get this thing done.
Yeah, I think it would be an awesome storyline too. Keegan does not want to, use a self pick on himself. He wants to make sure he qualifies for this Ryder Cup this summer, that we'll both be in attendance at. And what better storyline for him to put on a green jacket to get him on that Ryder Cup team to not, take some pressure off of him for the rest of the season and to just, enjoy playing golf. And then, he's got to live with himself making some captain's picks, but I think the storyline would just be so awesome for him to win the Masters that I couldn't pass up on it.
Yeah, I guess it kind of seems something like a story tale or a fairy tale, right? If he
Yeah.
were to, he's talked about it. He's not going to use a captain's pick on himself, and he wants to become a player's or a playing captain. So yeah, a victory at the Masters would definitely secure a place on that team. So yeah, let's do it, Captain Keegan.
Yep. And then my last play here is going to be Daniel Berger. I got him at 215 to 1. That number was just stupid. I still think he's in the triple digits, which I love. He, he's been bet and very heavily tipped all season long. He's been playing, he is back to playing winning golf, Daniel Berger golf that we're used to seeing, after season off. His Masters history, not so great. He has a T10 back in 2016 and then some lackluster finishes through. But that being said, he's made 4 or 5 cuts at the Masters, playing some awesome golf. I couldn't pass up on the number. Extremely talented off the tee, very well rounded. The approach play is there. He's putting well enough to win. I think the number is just too big to pass up on. I still endorse it at 100 to 1 as a long shot if you're looking for that on your card. On the season, 10th in strokes gained total for 41st off the tee, 46th on approach, 19th around the green, 44th putting. So all around, great golf for Daniel Berger. Couldn't pass it up. Again, another great storyline for him to, come back from injury, a full year off to then put on a green jacket. I'm here for some storylines this week, Nate.
Yeah, and again, this is a guy that's going to pop in your stats-based model each and every week because he's so well-rounded. He's played insane golf to start the season, and 250s. It doesn't seem like a real number, honestly, when it comes to Daniel Berger. But again, you mentioned triple digits. I think you're still fair playing him there. Many PGA Tour, the best of the PGA Tour, have talked about how good Daniel Berger is. I forget exactly who it was in an interview during one of the tournaments said there's no one on tour who's taking more money from them and and practice rounds and gentlemen bets than Daniel Berger has of them. I think it was even Justin Thomas who may have said that. So yeah, I mean, a real talent missed a year because of injury, but man, again, it would be one of those feel good stories of the past decade if Daniel Berger were to get it done at the Masters. All right, guys, that rounds off our cards this week for the Masters. If you can't tell, we're rather excited about that. Before we do get off here, Jake, I need to ask you, as we do every year, if you are the defending champion of the Masters, you get to host the Masters dinner, the Champions Dinner. We got to make ourselves a menu real quick before we hop off this podcast. Let's run through it. Let's just kick it off here with your appetizer. Well, I guess we'll start with like your soup. I think it's always I kind of break it down like appetizer, soup slash salad, entree and dessert. So let's just kick it off with your soup slash salad. Where are we starting there?
Yeah, I'm a big soup guy, so I'm going with just a homemade, nice pot chicken noodle soup, loaded up with noodles. Uh, but yeah, that's where I'm going. That's probably one of my favorite things to eat.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so one of my favorite foods and something I've eaten almost every day for lunch for the last 3 years is a Southwest steak salad with a
Yeah.
chipotle dressing. I'm not sure if it's like traditional or whatever. It's one of the restaurants around me has it. It's just simply a salad with like tortilla strips, corn, beans, and a steak, of course, and then some chipotle dressing. So I think I'll go there just because it's again, you gotta pay homage to yourself, not only try to pick fancy things, but you gotta, like Bubba Watson with your grilled chicken breasts he's had twice there, right? You gotta take it back to your roots, and it's something I eat almost every single day, so we'll kick it off there. All right, appetizer, Jake.
Yeah, this is tough. I'm going all over the place. So we're going around the world with my menu. We're not sticking to a theme here. But what I love is just a vegetable gyoza, going more towards the Asian style there, but with a nice sauce there. I feel like it's a good start to a meal, but it might take a turn. It's not going to go a full Asian style menu for me here.
All right, yeah, I'm definitely going with a stuffed mushroom with prosciutto top. I could eat about 300 of those things. My wife's mother is like full-blood Italian, and she makes some fantastic food. And one of her favorite things she makes is those stuffed mushrooms. I don't know the exact mushroom. It's like a little cap that she, pops off and fills with cream cheeses and prosciutto and all of that. So absolutely adore stuffed mushrooms. So we'll kick it off there. And I guess the big one, Jake, what is your entree? And I guess we can include a side with this.
Yeah, this feels kind of crazy to me that no one or some people have done variations of this, but I'm throwing out the tomahawk steak, Nate. I want everyone to eat like kings here. I'm going a tomahawk steak with some sort of veggie side, either a like a Brussels sprout, an
Yeah,
asparagus, a potato, something along those lines. But we see people with fillets, different kinds of steak. What are we doing here? Throw the tomahawk. Let the people eat what they
like a
want.
nice 2 inch thick tomahawk, there we go.
Yep.
Yeah, I would mine would be steak as well. It'd probably be Wagyu ribeye. I've eaten some of it. It's not like I'm having A5 or anything like that, which I'm sure is fantastic. But even like an American Wagyu ribeye, something like that with probably a cheesy broccoli side. I absolutely love broccoli, and if you want to put some cheese sauce on there, I'm all for it. So yeah, we'll go there. And I guess this would probably be the biggest one is the dessert. I think this is very undervalued when it comes to menu construction.
Yep. So I've gone with the Asian starter, the American base. I'm finishing off with a nice Italian dessert here. I'm going with affogato. It's become one of my favorites. It's a scoop of vanilla ice cream with an espresso shot poured over. Um, I'm a big coffee drinker. It's one of my favorites.
There we go. I don't think I've ever had that. That sounds fantastic, honestly. And yeah, I guess I'll just keep rounding my thing out with again, have to go with what's true to me. And if you were to ever meet me in real life, you would understand that cheesecake is one of my guilty pleasure to it's one of my favorite things on this entire planet. I love cheesecake. And I would just go with a traditional New York style cheesecake, and I honestly eat it plain. I don't put, any of that dumb fruit or anything on there. I just want my cheesecake true to itself. If you want to get crazy and make like a s'mores cheesecake or a salted caramel dipping sauce or something like that, I'm all for it. But keep the fruit out of my desserts. New York style cheesecake to round it off for me.
Dude, I love it. It's a fun ending to the podcast, right? Talking about our menus. We could dream about it. It's a little bit a different of a dream, right? Versus,
Yes,
I don't know why I'm picking on Joe Highsmith, but like Joe Highsmith could dream and achieve for us, unless we're hosting one of us just for a casual
that's what I'm
dinner and want to
saying. Yeah,
ball
it's it's
out.
it's it's fun to talk about, and in reality, we're never going to be hosting a master's dinner again. We could get together and host this dinner, which would be cool in itself. But yeah, it's a fun example and a fun I don't know the proper word for it, but it's always something I look forward to each year talking about, and I'll definitely be tweeting it out soon and having the followers on Twitter construct theirs. I'm sure we'll talk about it in Discord as well, where you probably even have when I shared Scotty's in there. But
Yeah.
yeah, and how about Scotty paying homage to the ravioli? He's having ravioli on his menu this year, of course, the infamous Christmas Day ravioli incident that took him out for a few months and had hand surgery.
He's gained a little bit of a personality, right? Got
He has.
arrested, playing into, he's starting to grow on me. If he really wants to get me going, he's got to win this week for us.
Well, Jake, again, we're both super excited. It's now roughly 7:15 in the morning. We got the workday ahead of us yet, but it's been fantastic to hop on here, kick the day off with the Masters. I mean, I was up at 1 a.m. still doing Masters work. It's 7 a.m. We're still doing Masters work. I'm sure at noon I'll be doing Masters work. It'll be, you know, 3 p.m. tomorrow we'll be doing Masters work. It's not stopping this week, and I could not be more excited about it. And I'm happy to be doing this work.
Yeah, no, this is the best time.
All right, Jake, one more time for people fighting social media.
Yep, you can find me at the Jake Freeman on Twitter. I'll be posting my outright card there shortly, along with my article on WeKnowFantasy.com. So be sure to check those out. Also, join our Discord, completely free to join, no hidden paywalls in there. A great community, centered around golf, but we also have tennis and NASCAR. Any questions, really anything about golf in general, be sure to hop in there. Just toss it in the group. You're going to get a lot of opinions, not just Nate and myself. You have a group of over 250 members in there. Everyone's ready to give their opinion and excited to discuss. So definitely reach out to Nate or myself. We can get you the link to join there.
There we go. Be sure to follow myself, Nate, on Twitter at WKF Nate. Be sure to follow We Know Fantasy on all forms of social media at We Know Fantasy. Is that it? Be sure to visit WeKnowFantasy.com for some more fantasy sports content. Until next time, guys, we'll see you.